JinPingMei Original Version Chapter 75. Because Sister Yu was pregnant with ailments and was sour, she poured vinegar on the golden lotus to protect her shortcomings. It is said that Yunyang listened to the Huang family treasure scroll and did not mention the rest in each room. Pan Jinlian, who was single, bumped into Simon King at the corner door and led him into the room. Seeing Simon King just sitting on the bed, he asked, "Why don't you take off your clothes?" Then Simon King held the woman in his arms and said with a smile, "I came here to tell you that I want to go over there to rest for the night. You bring that vagina to me." The woman scolded, "Prisoner, you are using clever tricks in my hands to coax me with such face-saving words. I was not standing at the corner door just now. You passed by. You are impatient, and you are willing to ask me again. This is what you had agreed with that crooked bone in the morning. And you asked him to come and give you a fur coat in your head, and then kowtow to me, the little thief crooked bone. Who do you think I am? Make a thorn in my hand. When I was Li Pinger, I taught you to bury me alive. If the bird is not in that nest, I won't be jealous anymore," Simon King said with a smile. "Where is this? He didn't come to kowtow to you. And you said something wrong with him." The woman pondered for a long time, and then said, "I'll let you go. And you are not allowed to take this bun and talk to that crooked and skewered guy. Dirty guy. You will come to sleep with me tomorrow, so clean." Simon King said, "I'm used to it. What will you do if you don't want to sleep with me?" After pestering him for a long time, the woman snatched the silver holder away from her. He said, "If you want, take this licensed one." Simon King said, "It's fine with me." He took off his sleeves and staggered out. The woman said, "Come here. Let me ask you, are you sleeping in the same bed with him for a long time? It makes those two girls feel ashamed. They just slept there for no reason, and then let him sleep in another place." Simon King said, "Who will sleep with him forever?" After saying that, he left. The woman called back again and said, "Come here. I will pay you. Why are you panicking?" Simon King said, "What did you say again?" The woman said, "I allow you to sleep with him as long as you want, but you are not allowed to talk to him. It's such a gossip that he is bold and deceitful in front of us. I will find out tomorrow and you will never come into my house again. I will bite off your lower body." Simon King said, "You weird little whore. Son, this is too trivial." He walked over there. JinPingMei then said to the woman, "Let him go. What do you care about him? My mother-in-law is talkative and my daughter-in-law is stubborn. It's useless to teach others to enmity with you and to prevent us from playing chess." She yelled, "Ju closed the corner door and let Juor lay down the chess pieces. It's no problem for two people to play chess. Let's say that Simon King walked through Li Pingera's room and opened the curtain. Ryer was having dinner with Yingchun and Shu Chunkang when she saw Simon King and jumped up in panic. Simon King said, "You guys eat." Then he walked out of the bright room and sat down on a chair in front of Li Pingering. After a while, Ryer came out with a smile and said, "Dad, it's cold here, please go sit inside." Simon King put his arm around him and kissed her on the lips. He walked to the middle of the room and sat in front of the bed. With tea on the stove, Yingxin quickly ordered some tea to eat. Ryer stood by the king, warming herself by the fire, and asked, "Dad, you don't have any wine today, but you still have a table of vegetables and some Jinhua wine that you and your mother provided for you. I left them to prepare a sieve for you to eat with your father." Simon King said, "After dinner, you guys just bring a few fruit plates. I don't want Jinhua wine." He taught Xu Chun, "You take a lantern and go to the study room of Zhang Chunwu. There is also a jar of wine. Ask for the king's scripture and sift it with me to eat." Xu Chun agreed and went off with the lantern. Yingxin quickly set the table and got the vegetables. Ryer said, "Sister, you open the box and wait while I pick two things to drink with Dad." So she picked a few plates of delicious fruits and vegetables under the lamp and placed them on the table. After a long time, Xu Chun fetched the wine and opened the sieve to heat it. Ryer poured it into the bell and handed it over. Simon King tasted it and found it very delicious. Ryer stood close to the table, served him with wine, and personally peeled and roasted chestnuts to drink with him. Yingxu knew the situation and went to sit with Xu Chun in the kitchen at the back. When Simon King saw that no one was round, He asked his wife to sit on his lap, hold him in his arms, and drink sips of wine with him, while unbuttoning his coat, revealing his plump white chest. He touched his nipples with his hands and praised, "My son, you don't love anything else. I only love you so much that you have such white skin and flesh, which is the same as your mother's. Normally, when I hug you, it's like I hug him." Ryer smiled and said, "Dad, I'm not saying mother's body is still white. I see that although Wu Niang is good-looking, her skin is also fair and red. The white flesh is not as fair as the and the third wife. The third wife is just a little more pockmarked. On the other hand, Miss Su is more beautiful and fair." He also said, "I have something to say to my father. Sister Yingshan has a positive thing. Dai Xianzier wants to give it to me. He wants to ask his father for the golden red tiger that his mother's family often wears. He wears it in the first month, and my father will give it to him." Simon King said, "You don't wear it from the front. Wait until I ask the silversmith to get another gold one. With you and your mother. Your aunt has already taken the box behind you, so how can you ask him for it?" My wife said, "That's all. You can bring me another red tiger." As he walked down, "Kowtow and thanks." The two drank for half a day. Ryer said, "Dad, if you ask sister to come and have a glass of wine with him, won't you offend him?" Simon King called Yingchun, but he didn't respond. My wife walked into the kitchen and said, "Sister, Daddy called you." Yingchun came over. Simon King ordered Ryer to pour a cup of wine for him, and then picked a chopsticks of vegetables and put them on the wine holder. Na Yingchun stood nearby and ate. Ruyi said, "You ask Sister Shu Chun to come and eat some." Yingchun left and came back and said, "He doesn't want to eat." So she put him on the kang, covered him with bedclothes, and slept on the kang in the kitchen with Shu Chun. This wife had a drink with Simon King, cleaned up the house fire, and ordered tea with Simon King. It turned out that there was another bed prepared for Simon King to sleep on. It was made of silk quilts and flower button pillows, and was warm in the fumigation cage. His wife then asked, "Dad, do you want to sleep on the kang or the bed?" Simon King said, "I'll sleep on the bed." Ryer took the bedding and spread it on the bed, and sent Simon King to undress and go to bed. He fetched water and washed the female in the bright room, closed the door, and moved the lamp close to the bed. Then he took off his clothes and went to bed, where he and Simon King hugged each other and lay down on each other's pillows. The woman pinched his words with her hands, which were tied with a silver turban. And she was thinking ferociously, feeling happy and scared at the same time. The two breathed close and hugged each other. Simon King saw him lying on his back on the bed, stripped naked, fearing that it would freeze him, so he took his tube top and covered his chest. Holding its 2 feet with both hands, "Pull it out with all your strength." My wife was panting, and her face was so hot from being touched by him. He added, "This waistband is still with me when my mother was still alive." Simon King said, "My dear, don't worry about it. Go to tomorrow's shop. Take half a red piece, make a small coat and wear it to wait for me." His wife said, "It's good to know." Simon King said, "I just forget. How old are you this year? What is your surname? Who is your eldest sister? I only remember your manly surname is Zhang." My wife said, "His surname is Zhang, and his name is Zhang Wanger. My maiden name is Zhang, and I am the 4th in line. Today 32 years old." Simon King said, "I am 1 year older than you." He bowed his head while calling him Zhang sire. "You serve me with all your heart. When my aunt gives birth to a child tomorrow, you will be happy. Look at the milk. If you are lucky enough to have a boy and a half girl, I will help you up and make a small room with me, which will be your mother's nest." "What do you think?" the wife said. "You are a slave man. It's gone. And there is no one in my mother's family. I would rather serve my father wholeheartedly than leave my father's house even if I die. It would be great if my father is pitiful." Simon King saw that he was looking for opportunities with his words, and he liked him more and more, and held his snow-white hand. The 2 legs were only used to explore the brain, and the 2 were fan dry. The wife who was extracted from the bottom screamed out, "The voice is timid and the stars are dim." After a long time, he made his horse lie down, resting his feet. Simon King, covered with a red silk quilt, sat on him and set those words into his vagina. Under the light, she pressed his snow-white buttocks with both hands and just slapped him, shouting, "Zhang sire, you're screaming for me. Don't stop. I'll leave it to you." The woman held up her buttocks to you. Just like that. He kept calling out with trembling soft words in his mouth. After holding on for an hour, Simon King finally released his semen. After a long time, he pulled out the stock and his wife wiped it with a handkerchief. He slept with his arms round him until the rooster crowed at 5 o'clock. And then he woke up, and his wife sucked him for him again. Simon King told him, "Why did your fifth wife sit for me half the night? You were afraid that I would get cold, and you didn't even teach me to urinate, so you swallowed it for me." This Mrs. Simon really drowned her wife with urine. Introvertly, at the moment, the two are charming and gentle, and they have thousands of gongs, which have been pounding all night. The next day, his wife got up first, opened the door, prepared the brazier, and sent Simon King to dress and freshen up and go out. He went to the front and distributed fudian, teach to platoon troops to write a note on the 8 Immortals cauldron, placed in the rolling shed and carry it to the Song Dynasty Yushi's father's inspection court. Please understand the delivery and ask for the note back. Also known as Chenjingji, they sealed one gold section and one color section, and taught the piano boy to hold it in a felt bag. He was ready to dismount and go to King Haku early to pay homage to Magistrate Kai. While they were eating porridge in Yunyang's room, Yunyang asked him, "Why don't we all go to Yinger's place and leave one of us to look after the house? Let's leave his sister at home to keep Dog Wheezy company." Simon King said, "I've prepared 5 favors, so let's go for a walk. The eldest sister is at home with the eldest sister, which is normal. I've already made a promise." After hearing this, Yunyang was speechless. Sister Li Gui said goodbye and said, "Mom, I'll go home today." Yunyang said, "Why are you going in a hurry? Why don't you stay here for another day?" Sister Gui said, "To be honest with you, my mother feels uncomfortable at home. There's no one around, so I'll just come and stay a couple of times during the first month of the year." I bid farewell to Simon King. Yunyang packed the plates of tea and food, and gave Sister Gui a tael of silver. After having tea, she went out. Simon Qingkai just put on his clothes and went forward. Suddenly Pinganer came to report, "Jingdu prison father is here to pay his respects." Simon King immediately went out to greet him and went to the hall to recite the ceremony. The Jingdu supervisor kowtowed in the hall and said, "It's been a long time since we've seen each other. I'm indebted to you for my courtesy. I've missed my congratulations." Simon Qingdo said, "I'm grateful for the honor, but I haven't congratulated you yet." After expressing his gratitude, the guest and host sat down separately and offered tea on the left and right. The Jingdu supervisor asked, "Where are the good knights waiting?" Simon King said, "The 9th son of the Grand Master in the capital, Zhujiang Kaifu, yesterday inspected Song Gongzu and the Ministry of Industry in Fengshan, Jin Yunye, and Huang Taiyu. I'm borrowing the student's place as a host and treating him to a meal. I asked him to pay me his respects. Why don't I go back and pay homage to him?" I'm afraid he got up and went away. Supervisor Jingdu said, "That's right. I've come here because of something. Fang Du, the inspector of Song Dynasty, is just 1 month away. He is afraid that local officials will be impeached at the end of the year. I hope Siquan will lend him a favor. I heard that I had a drink in the house yesterday, so I'm brave enough to rely on love. If I can make an inch of progress, I dare not make any progress." "Forget," Simon King said. "This is a good thing. You and I are so kind to each other. How dare you not accept the order? You write a note and say it. Fortunately, he will have a drink with me the day after tomorrow. When I come to see him, I will say goodbye. It's easier to talk about it." Inspector Jingdu quickly stepped down, bowed to Simon King again and said, "Thank you for your kindness. It's an unforgettable connection," he said. "I already have a resume notebook here." He asked the writer to take it out. Jingdu's supervisor handed it over with his own hands and watched it with Simon King. It reads, "Jing Zhang, the commander of the left guard of King Hin Shandong and other places, is 32 years old. He is from Tanzhou after Shanhu. He has been promoted to the rank of thousands of households in this guard through his military achievements. In a certain year, he was appointed by Wu Yu's Chinese style, be promoted to the current position, and manage the soldiers and horses of Jeju. One by one, it is clear, after Simon King finished reading, Jingdu superintendent took out a gift sticker from his sleeve, handed it to him and said, "Boyi looks like a beggar and smiles here." When Simon King saw the words 2,000 stones of white rice written on it, he said, "How can this be unreasonable? This student, I don't dare to accept him if I treat people like this. How can we have any friendship?" Jingdu supervisor said, "No, Sikwin will not accept it anyway, and it is normal to transfer it to Songgong. How can you see that the rejection is so deep? If you don't accept it, my younger brother will not dare to accept it, Fengdu." Simon King gave in again and again, and had no choice but to accept it, saying, "Student, I will accept it for now." As he accepted it, he said, "Student will tell him tomorrow, and I will send someone to report back." After changing the tea and soup, Jingdu supervisor thanked you and got up. Simon King mounted his horse, followed by Kintong, and went to pay homage to Magistrate Kai. But she said that Yu Xiao sent Simon King out, then walked to Jinlian's room and said, "Wan Yang, why didn't you sit in the back yesterday?" My mother didn't talk about Wu Niang. She said that Wu Niang heard her father leaving in front and went into the house. I couldn't leave. It was Sanyang's birthday yesterday, so she didn't let him go into his room and held her father tightly. Sanyang said, "I'm so shameless. So whoever has the patience to fight for him, on the left and right are these rooms." He went to string him together. Jinlian said, "I'm going to say something, but I can't say anything. I blinded him. Did you know he was sleeping in my room yesterday?" Yu Xiao said, "The old man in front of me go to your mother's house. Liu Niang died again. And whose house did your father go to?" Jinlian said, "Chickens don't pee. They each have their own place to go. If one dies, there will still be another to take care of the nest." Yu Xiao said, he added, "My mother was angry that Wu Niang asked Dad for a fur coat but didn't tell him. After Dad sent the key to the room, Mom said a few words of good to Dad and said, 'Sisterly has died a long time ago, so she counted on him. I just have to take a look if he doesn't die.'" Jinlian said, "There's no such thing as Mao by Dan. There is only one man who makes the decision. Are you my mother-in-law? You are in charge of me. I will stop him and I will hold the rope. Can't you tie his legs? There are those Mao Bai who are so arrogant." Yu Xiao said, "I'm here to tell my mother. I just keep it in my heart and don't say anything about me. Sister Gui also went home today. My mother has tidied up her hair and face. Wu Niang should do it soon." After saying that, Yu Xiao went behind the Golden Lotus, applied rouge and powder in front of the mirror, placed tea and put green on it, and asked Chunmai behind to ask the Jade Tower what color clothes he was wearing today. Yulu said, "Your father changed his filial piety from anger, so he taught you to wear light-colored clothes." The 5 women decided to wear white buns, beaded hoops, and light-colored clothes. But Wu Yunyang was wearing a white crepe gauze crown with golden beams, a coat with agarwood flowers and gold makeup on it, and a gauze green gold skirt. One big sedan and 4 small sedans lined up to drink. The chessboy and lion followed. They said goodbye to Wu Degenzi, the 3 masters and Grandma Pan, and went straight to Earl Ying's house to have full moon wine, no question. But they said that Ryer and Yingchun had a table of dishes that Simon King came to eat in the evening, and the arrangements were ready, as well as a pot of Jinhua wine. And another pot of wine was poured into the altar. Grandma Pan and Chunmai were invited at noon, and Sister Yu played and sang, "Make a place to eat in the room." In the middle of the meal, something was going on. Chunmai said, "I just said that second sister Shan can sing Gui Jenner well." No one went to the back to ask him to come. At least teach him to sing and let's listen. It's time to welcome the spring. When Shu Chun called, he saw Chun Hong coming to warm the fire. Chunmai said, "You little barbarian prisoner, you are not so cold. Why don't you come to this house to warm the fire?" Because he called Yingchun. You usually eat half a cup of wine with him. Fenfu said, "You eat and call the second sister Shen from behind for me. I want him to sing a song for Grandma to listen to." Chun Hong drank the wine and walked to the back. He didn't want the second sister Shen to accompany the eldest concubine. The eldest sister, the three sisters-in-law, and Yuxiao were all sitting in the upper room, having tea. Suddenly Chun Hong opened the curtain and came in, shouting, "Second sister Shen, come here. My eldest lady asked you to sing a song for him." Then second sister Shen said, "Your eldest lady is here, and is there a big girl out?" Chun Hong said, "It was Miss ChenMei in front of me who called you." Second sister Shen said, "Why is Miss ChenMei so surprised that you came to call me too? Sister Yu is there, too, normally. I'll sing here with Grandma Dajin." The Jinzi said, "That's fine, second sister Shen. You go for a walk and come back." Second sister Shen sat still and didn't move. Chun Hong walked to the front and said to ChenMei, "I called him, but he didn't come." ChenMei said, "You said I called him, and he came." Chun Hong said, "I said the big girl in front when I call you." He doesn't hesitate, saying that this is a big girl, and another big girl has emerged from there. I said it's Miss ChenMei, and he says you're Miss ChenMei. It's just Sister Yu. When did he come? Come and call me too. I have no time to sing and listen to Grandma Dajin here. When Grandma Dajin asked you to go for a walk, she refused to come. ChenMei just didn't listen and listened to the three corpse gods. He was pounding violently. His internal organs were full of energy. A little red started from his ears, and his cheeks were all purple in a moment. No one could stop her. Gu Feng walked into the upper room, pointed at second sister Shen and cursed. "Why did you tell the young man that I've got another big girl out there? I wonder if he came to call me too. Me? What kind of general officer and wife are you? I dare not call you. We were caught in the hair, but you lifted it up, and now you have emerged again. You are nothing more than a thief who walks through thousands of houses and thousands of households. Blind slut. How long have you been here since you came to my house, and yet you dared to look at people? Do you know any good tricks?" On the left and right are those words, Donguli, Shiguba, Glib Dog Tongue. Those wild songs and wild lyrics that don't have paper and pen. Just use the class to make a show of it. I have seen many of the wives who sing in the third hospital of our company, and I am very jealous of you. That prostitute in Han Daoguo's family loves you, but I don't want you here. Just follow the example of that slut. I'm not afraid either. Why don't you go as soon as possible so that Mama Jia and I can leave the house?" The eldest lady stopped her and said, "Quickly, don't break the news." Shen Erji scolded her blindly. He dared to be angry, but did not dare to speak, and said, "Ya Cora, how can this eldest sister be so rude? Even to the high official just now, I never said anything bad. How can you use such words and curses? There is no room for people here. And there is even more room for people." ChenMei became more and more angry, and cursed, "Thief, you can sing for others to listen to. Come with me as soon as possible. And then don't come here either." Shen Erniang said, "If I don't have anything, I'll leave it at your house." ChenMei said, "I'll leave it at my house and ask the servant to pluck all your hair off your temples." Dajinzi said, "You this kid, why is he acting like this today? Why don't you go forward?" Not ChenMei just didn't want to move. The second sister Shen came down from the Kang in tears, bid farewell to Dajinzi, packed her clothes and buns, and couldn't wait for the sedan to come. She asked Dajinzi to send Ping'an to call General Hua Tunger and take him to Handao country. ChenMei cursed and moved forward. Dajinzi looked at the eldest sister and Yuxiao and said, "How dare he come in after having a drink? Otherwise he would be so rude. I wouldn't look good if he scolded me. Just tell him to calm down slowly, Libby." I wanted to chase him out, but I didn't ask the servant to lead him, so he was in deep water and could not survive. Yuxiao asked, "How dare they come to have a drink in front?" But ChenMei came to the front and angrily said to everyone, "Just now, I just had to scratch the ears of the blind thief and whore. He doesn't know who I am. Hey, call him Zhang Erjie, the one who takes advantage of others." Ying Shun said, "If you cut down one branch, it will damage hundreds of branches. Be more careful. Sister Yu is here." ChenMei said, "That's not the case. Like Sister Yu, in the past few years in my family, who has he teased? Teach him how to sing, and he will sing. There is a bold thief like this blind whore. He remembers what kind of tricks, going left and right. Just those few lines of sheep on the hillside and Sunanzi were written in a smooth way. And what the hell was it like to play dish? I just heard this song for the first time. So what? When I saw him, I wanted to tear Sister Yu away in my heart. It's like coming down. Sister Yu said, "It's not that bad. Last night, my aunt taught me to sing a little tune, and he quickly took the peeper away and wanted to sing. Don't blame me. Eldest lady, how does he know the depth of our family? He doesn't know who he thinks of you yet." JinPingMei said, "I didn't scold you just now if you fall in love with Han Dao's wife, that thief and whore. Just follow her example, and I'm not afraid of him either." Grandma Pan said, My sister, it doesn't matter that you are so angry." Ryer said, "I'll pour a glass of wine to relieve my worries with my eldest sister." Yingxun said, "My daughter is angry when she's worried." She said, "Sister Yu, please pick up a good song and sing to serve him." Sister Yu took the pipa and said, "Wait while I sing Ying Ying in the bedroom and Sheep on the hillside. Listen to it with Grandma and the eldest girl." Ryer said, "Sing with your heart, and wait for me to pour the wine." Then Yingxun picked up a glass of wine, looked at JinPingMei and said, "Come on, my sister, don't be angry. I'll eat you as much as you want. Mom is just a drunkard." Not JinPingMei couldn't help laughing and scolding. "You little whore, you are acting like my mother again." Then he said, "Sister Yu, please stop singing Sheep on the Hillside. You can sing Chang'er Shui for us to listen to." Sister Yu was playing the pipa beside her, slowly singing Hua Jiao Yu Yin and eating with everyone. No mention of wine. Let us say that Simon King paid homage to Magistrate Kaiju from Shinhaku. And when he came back and dismounted, he reported that he was safe. Today, Father He from the Yamen came with the promise. "Please come to the Yamen tomorrow morning and take a case of treason for interrogation." And Dad sent 100 new calendars. Jingdu supervisor's father sent someone to send a mouthful of fresh bic, a jar of soybean wine, and 4 envelopes of silver. My brother-in-law accepted it and handed it to the back, and did not dare to return to him. In the evening, his family came to see his father to talk. Only whose father received the reply and rewarded the visitor with a penny. It was Kiao's father who sent the post again and invited him to have a drink tomorrow. Diane then replied with a reply from Song Yashi, "Send the little one to the procuratorate." Father Song said that he will pay the price tomorrow. He rewarded the little one and the person who carried the box 5 coins of silver and 100 calendar days. When Simon King walked to the hall, Chen Hong quickly reported to JinPingMei and everyone, "Dad is here, and he's having a drink." JinPingMei said, "That's weird, little barbarian prisoner. Dad is here to come and go with him, no matter what. We're in trouble. He won't come to me without my mother at home." Everyone was drinking and joking, but they didn't want to leave. When Simon King arrived at the upper room, the eldest sister-in-law and her 3 sisters-in-law all went to the room over there. Yuxia went forward to take the clothes from him, sat down, and set the table for him to eat. Taught Lai Xing'er to set the table on the 30th. He and Song Shun pressed wine on the first day of the lunar month. Liu and Zhu, the 2 internal ministers, and Zhou Yi, the commander-in-chief, had official wine. The payment went. Yu Xiao was standing by and asked, "Dad, when you are drinking, what kind of wine should you sift?" Simon King said, "Here is the soybean wine sent by Jingdu prison just now. Open it and let me taste it to see if it's good." I saw Lion. The son came in and asked to pick up Yunyang. The jade flute asked him to bring wine, break the mud, pour it into the bell, and handed it to Simon King to take a sip. It was as clear as indigo and its taste was deep and long. Simon King ordered, "Bring it here and I'll eat it." After a while, the dishes were served and Simon King was eating wine in the room. But he said that Lion and the platoon troops took out lanterns, and at night he picked up Yunyang and others to come home. They all wore fur coats and came to the upper room to worship Simon King. But Zue kodos to Simon King, and when she gets up, she kodos to Yunyang again. After paying homage, they all went to the other side of the house to pay homage to the eldest sister-in-law and her 3 sisters-in-law. Yoon sat down and talked to Simon King. Sister-in-law Ying didn't like it when she saw us all go in there. At the banquet, there were the lady from the Ma family next door, sister-in-law Ying, Ernie Yingdu, and about 10 ladies. She asked her 2 daughters to play and sing. He raised a young boy with a flat head and a big face. It turned out that the spring flowers in his room were darker and thinner than before, and he only had a big donkey face, which made him feel uncomfortable. The chaos in his house today made him feel uneasy. I don't have anyone here. When you come, Ying urged go toast to us. Thanks again and again. And gives you many thanks for the gift. Simon King said, Chun Huier, the spirited slave, also dressed up to see people? Yu Nying said, he has no nose than that one? No eyes. Is he a ghost? Can't you see him when he comes out? Simon King said, that slave, I have to teach pigs to spread black beans. Yu Nying said, I can't listen to what you are saying. Only your family is good, and those who carry it are the ones who come out to see you. Wang Jing stood nearby and said, Ying or dad went to see the ladies, but the leader didn't dare to come out to see you. Hiding in the room below, he opened the window and looked forward. The younger one saw him and said, you have no shame. What are you looking at? He chased the younger one and beat him. Simon King smiled blindly and said, look at this thief. Wait until he comes tomorrow and put powder on his face. Wang Jing smiled and said, I understand, little one. Yu Nying shouted, young man, don't talk nonsense. When will he come? It's all in vain. Who saw his shadow one day? Only when he comes. Will he kowtow to us? Wang Jing stood for a while and came out. Yu Nying also got up and went to this room to worship the eldest concubine and the 3 masters. The eldest sister and the girls and wives of Yu Xiao all came to kowtow. Yu Nying then asked, why don't you see Shenner, sister? Everyone was silent. Yu Xiao said, second sister Shen has gone to her home. Yu Nying said, how come he left without waiting for me to come? Da Jinzi couldn't hide it, so she told Chunmai what she had scolded him for. Yu Nying was a little annoyed and said, it's fine if he doesn't sing. This girl is used to doing things upside down. How can she scold him for nothing? No wonder my master no longer has a true master, and his slaves don't have any rules. What's the point? Looking at Jin Lian, she said, you should take care of him. He's used to it. Jin Lian said with a smile, I haven't seen this one wandering blindly. The wind does not shake and the tree does not move. You go. Thousands of families, thousands of households. It's nothing more than singing. When someone asks you to sing, you won't lose your kindness. Whoever taught you to act like a classmate won't scold him for being fishy. Yu Nying said, you're here and he can talk. He's like this. And the good guys and the bad guys are scolded by him. Don't bother with him anymore. Jin Lian said, why don't you give him a few sticks for the blind whore? Yu Nying, after hearing what he said, he turned red with anger and said, if you spoil him, I'll scold him all over tomorrow. So he got up and walked past Simon King. Simon King asked, what's going on? Yu Nying said, I know who it is. Your family has a well-behaved eldest sister. She scolded second sister Shen for doing this. Simon King said with a smile, who taught him not to sing and let him listen to it. It doesn't matter. Tomorrow, let the boy give him a tael of silver to make up for it. It's normal. Yu Xiao said, second sister Shen's box is still here. I haven't taken it away. Come on. Seeing Simon King smile, Yu Nying said, if you don't preach, I will yell at him a few words, but you are still talking like a girl. I wonder what you are laughing at. Yulu and Li Jiar saw that Yu Nying was getting angry, so they all went back to their rooms first. Simon King just drank and drank. After a long time, Yu Nying came into the inner room, took off her clothes and picked up her head and asked Yu Xiao, where are the 4 packages of silver in this box from? Simon King said, they are the 200 taels of silver from Jingdu prison. We need the Central Song dynasty to patrol and press in order to promote the Jin dynasty. Yu Xiao said, my brother-in-law brought it in, but I forgot to tell my mother. Yu Nying said, I haven't put it in the cabinet yet. Yu Xiao was placed in the kitchen cabinet. Jin Liang was just sitting in the room over there, waiting for Simon King to go forward. Tonight, she was going to take Aunt Sue's medicine and have sex with him, hoping that Renzi would have a good day and have children. Seeing that Simon King was not moving, he came over and lifted the curtain and called him. If you don't go forward, I won't be able to wait for you. I'll go first. Simon King said, my son, you go first and I'll eat. Here's some wine. Jin Liang kept going. Yu Nyang said, I don't want you to go. I'm still talking to you. What if you to wear the same pants together? In the world of strong sweat, Baba came to my room and forced me to call you. You are shameless. You are his wife. And others are not his wives? You are a thief. No wonder people are talking about you. Treat everyone equally. They are all your wives. So don't show it. Just let him stop you in front of you. I came from Tokyo. How can I not be annoyed if I can't go into the shadow and rest for a night? It's better if you make a cold stove or a hot stove. If Chong Jiao stops me, I'll leave it at that. If he doesn't have the same experience as you, how can he let others go? Although he didn't say anything, he was a little annoyed in his heart if he wanted to kill him. Today, Sanji Meng was at Er Sao Ying's place. She hadn't eaten anything all day. I don't know. I lost my breath, which only made me feel miserable and sick. When I came home, sister-in-law Ying handed me wine for 2 minutes and she vomited. Why don't you go into the room and look at him? After hearing this, Simon King said, really, let's take care of the family fire. I won't drink anymore. Then he walked to the Jade building. I saw that the woman had taken off her clothes and jewelry. Her clothes were lying on the kang, and she was lying upside down and vomiting. Seeing that he kept moaning, Simon King asked in a panic, my son, what's going on in your heart? Tell me to ask someone to come see you tomorrow. The woman remained silent and just vomited. Simon King picked him up and sat with him. Seeing that he was only rubbing his chest with his hands, he asked, my dear, what's going on in your heart? Tell me, the woman said, I'm so worried. Why do you ask him? Go and do your business. Simon King said, I don't know. I just knew it when I went up to my room to tell me. The woman said, I know you don't know. I'm not you. Wife. Just go and love your beloved. Simon King then hugged Fenxiang, kissed her on the lips, and said, you are so glib, so you are making fun of me. Then he called Lan Xiang. Hurry up and have some bitter tea. Eat with your mother. Lan Xiang said, there is tea waiting for you. She brought the tea up. Simon King took it to his mouth and ate it with his own hands. The woman said, bring it here and I'll eat it myself. Who's waiting for you to work hard and steam the hot food for sale? The sun is setting in the west today, so I rarely come to my house for a walk. There are also this aunt, for no reason, is trying to get out of Huo Guli's anger. Simon King said, you don't know, I have been busy with all kinds of things in the past 2 days. The woman said, I know you are not at ease. I have the one I love dragging you down. Wait, the little ones from our time have all been given a redundant name to listen to the questions. We will keep it in your heart for the next 10 years. Seeing Simon King holding his scent in his mouth, he frowned and said, the smell of wine you ate is still with me. Whoever tastes the yellow soup and spicy water in a day, what kind of thoughts are there too? Bother you too, Simon King said. What haven't you eaten? Ask the girl to bring us some food to eat. I haven't eaten yet, the woman said. You can't tell me. People here are in terrible pain. Let's eat. You have to eat. You can eat it at home. Simon King said, I won't eat it, and I won't eat it even if I dare. Let's just pack up and go to bed. Tomorrow morning, I'll ask the young man to ask a medical officer to come and see you. The woman said, let him go and invite Medical Officer Ren or Medical Officer Li to teach Mrs. Liu. You can just take her medicine. Simon King said, go to sleep and I'll take care of the situation for you. You don't know, I am good at picking bones and treating diseases. Simon King suddenly remembered, yesterday, Su Guan Liu gave me 10 yuan of Guangdong bezoar wax pills. The medicine is very good when taken with wine. Even Lan Xiang, ask your aunt go and put it in a porcelain jar in the upper room. Bring some wine with you. After eating it, the disease will be cured. The woman said, I can't scold you. What disease do you think you have? You want wine? I have wine in this room. After a while, Lan Xiang went to the upper room and asked for 2 pills. Simon King heated the wine through a sieve, peeled off the wax, and revealed the golden pills. He took them to Yulu and ate them. Simon King Yin asked Lang Shang, while you are drinking, you can sift it for an hour, and I will take the medicine. Yulu glanced at him and said, don't sweat evil. If you want to take medicine, go to someone else's room, come here to eat. What are you doing here? But you are doing this nonsense. You saw that I was not dead, so you came to persuade me to go on the road. The soul of hurting people is gone, and you still have to tease people like this. It's your fault. It's so bad. Who can bear to hang out with you too? Simon King said with a smile, come on, my son. I won't take the medicine anymore. Let's just sleep. The woman finished taking the medicine. He and Simon King undressed and went to bed together. Simon King was in bed, patting his breasts with his hands, feeling the fragrant milk, holding his pink neck with one hand, and asked, my dear, do you feel better after taking the medicine this time? The woman said, it hurts. It stopped. There's still some noise. Simon King said, it doesn't matter. It'll be good if it goes away for a while. Yin said, you're not at home. I exchanged 50 taels of silver with Lake Singer today. And the next day the Song Yashi on the first day of the Lunar New Year, we set out the wine and burned paper to repay the wishes. On the 3rd day of the Lunar New Year, we spend more days to invite everyone. It's okay to just sit next to each other after receiving many favors and gifts. The woman said, you invite them. It's not with me, and it's not with me if you don't invite me. Tomorrow, on the 30th, I will teach the boy to come and save the account, and leave it to you. You can leave it to 6th sister and teach him to take care of it. He should also be taught to take care of the children. But it is him. Yesterday I said, if you tighten the tight spot, it will be difficult to carve the Buddha's eyes. Wait for me to take care of it, Simon King said. Listen to that little slut. She is trying hard, but the tight spot will make her panic. She has passed it. You can just leave these few drinks to him. Yulu said, my brother, who raised you to be so obedient. He also said that you didn't protect him. These things show how serious you are. After setting aside wine and handing it over to him, are we going to die together? Like this early in the morning? Do you need to comb your hair? You come here and there, little boy, weighing silver and exchanging money. I'm exhausted after all the trouble. It's okay to say that. Simon King said, my son, as the saying goes, even if you have been in charge for 3 years, you are too tired of a dog. As he said this, he slowly picked up one leg, straddled it on his arm, and hugged him in his arms, holding his white calf and wearing a bright red suit. Ayako's embroidered shoes, said, my son, if I don't love you, I only love these 2 white legs of yours. Even if there are many women in the world, none are as tender and lovely as you. The woman said, he's such a talker, but who can believe that cotton-mouth guy? Kira has chosen all the women in the world and has yet to come. Not to mention that our flesh and skin are rough, but you can just make your own remarks. Simon King said, my darling, if I tell you a lie, I will die. The woman said, traveler, there is no need to make any vows. As Simon King said this, he put the words in his silver holder and inserted it into his vagina. The woman said, I told you to do it, so you came here. When she touched the silver holder, she said, we've been carrying this traitor. Since I didn't know it, why don't we get rid of it as soon as possible? Then Simon King Kingi held one of his legs in her arms, without exposing his head, thrusting lightly and deeply. For a moment, the liquid oozed out, and there was a sound like a dog making tea. The woman wiped it all away with silk, and kept making a soft trembling sound in her mouth, calling him, Dada, please go inside, slave. My back has been sore for 2 days, and there is white fluid flowing out of my lower body. Simon King said, I'll ask Dr. Ren for some warming medicine tomorrow. Just take it and you'll be fine. Not to mention the 2 of them having fun on the bed, alone. Bao Wu Yunyang was in the upper room with Dog Yuzi and the 3 masters, and they sat and talked in the evening. Because she talked about how Chunmai scolded the 2nd sister Shen. She cried, and she was not allowed to ride in the sedan chair. Chuanyang and Da Jinzi asked Hua Tunger to send him to Handao country. Da Jinzi said, "JinPingMei's words were rude. Please forgive me for saying those harsh words. Why is he not in a hurry? He has always been so rude and cursed. I just say that he is eat wine." Xiao Yu said. The 5 of them came ahead to have wine. Yunyang said, "You are such unreasonable connoisseurs. They spoil the girl to the point of being spoiled. And you still say it to others. Here we go. Tomorrow, no matter what is good or bad, people will eat him and scold him. What do you want us to do in the house? A daughter, he goes to thousands of homes, teach her to spread the word well. Dare you say that the eldest wife of the Ximen King family, too? I don't know how it came out in troubled times. I don't know which one is the master and which one is the slave. Not to mention that you guys are used to not having any rules, just like we are not handsome. What's the point?" Da Jinzi said. "Let him go. His uncle didn't say anything. How could he be so angry?" Without saying a word that night, we went back to the room to rest. The next day, Ximen King got up early and went to the Yamen. Pan Jinlian was very unhappy when she saw that Yunyang had blocked Ximen King and refused to let her come. And she missed the date of Renzi. The next day, Lion called a sedan chair early and sent Grandma Pan home. Wu Yunyang got up early in the morning. The 3 girls were about to leave home. Yunyang each received a box of tea and food for 5 coins. She also promised Ansu to fast in the nunnery during the first month of the year. He also sent sesame oil, white flour, and fine rice vegetarian food to other fasting monks as offerings to the Buddha. Because he put down the tea, he stayed in the upper room to take care of it and ate together with the elder concubine. First I invited Li Jiar, Meng Yulu and the eldest sister to sit down. Asked Yulu, "Have you eaten the wax pills? Does your heart and mouth no longer hurt?" Yulu said, "I vomited 2 mouthfuls of sour water this morning and it got better." He asked Xiao Yu to go forward, invite Grandma Pan and Wu Niang to have snacks. Yu Xiao said, "Xiao Yu is steaming snacks in the back. I'll go and invite you." Then he walked straight to the Golden Lotus room in front and asked him, "Why is Grandma missing?" "I'm inviting Grandma and Wu Niang to tea in the back." Jin Lian said, "I sent him to his house early this morning." Yu Xiao said, "Why didn't you say anything and went without knowing it?" Jin Lian said, "The people who live here are indifferent and only care about living there." Yu Xiao said, "I took a piece of bacon for sweet pickled melons and eggplants and gave them to the old man, but he left. Wu Niang, you can keep them for the old man." Then he handed them to Qiu Ju and put them on the drawer inside. Yu Xiao then said to Jin Lian, "Yesterday evening, Wen Yang came. My mother treated my father like this. Don't tell me that Wen Yang is sweating the world. She and my father are wearing the same pair of trousers. It is shameless. How can I stop my father? Dad was in front, not behind." He sent Dad to San Liang's room to rest for the night. Then he told the elder concubine and the 3 masters that JinPingMei, who Wu Niang was accustomed to, had no rules, and scolded second sister Shen. "Dad, tomorrow I will send a tael of silver to second sister Shen to cover up her shame." Yu Yishi talked for a while. "Keep this golden lotus in mind." Yu Xiao came back to Yunyang first and said, "Grandma got up early and went home, and Wu Niang will come." Then Yunyang looked at Da Jinzi and said, "Look, I said a few words to him yesterday, and today I have lost my temper. He didn't even come in to say anything. He sent his mother a long time ago. I guess my sister didn't know what kind of trouble she had planned in her heart." When Yunyang knew that she was talking in the room, Jin Lian secretly walked under the curtain of the bride room. After listening for a long time, Ming spoke up and said, "But what the aunt said, I sent him to his house so that I could stop the man." Yunyang said, "I said it. What do you want me to do now? I was waiting for a man. Came from Tokyo. And all day long he only stood in front of you and couldn't get past him. It turned out that you were his wife, and no one else was his wife. When it comes to action, others don't know, but I know. Yesterday, I went to Sister Li Gui's house." Da Jinzi asked. "Sister Li Gui stayed for a day. Why did she go home? Why is his uncle angry with him?" I also said, "Who knows why he is angry with him? You can just holding her head," she said. Others don't know, only I know. You've been guarding him all day long. How come you don't know? Jin Liang said, if he doesn't go to my room, why don't I use a pig hair robe? I can't go without him. What's the matter with that prodigal being panicked? Yun Young said, you're not panicking. He was sitting nicely in my room yesterday. Why did you push him with the curtain open and ask him to come forward? What do you say, a man who stands upright and endures hardships? What crime has he committed? And you use a pig hair robe to tie him up. I don't know the difference between the high and low. I am speechless. But you just chase people away. A leather jacket. You quietly ask the man for it. Wear it on your body. And don't say anything later. Wait, why do I always put little ducks in this room? Even in the orphanage, there is a turtle. A girl who is an envoy sleeps with his cat and mouse. And she is used to being a bit eccentric. She scolds people regardless of whether they are good or bad. When I talk about you, I don't talk about you. Jin Liang said, what if she is my girl? You every time know. I'm here too, and I'm still here. I asked him for the fur coat. Not only did he ask for the fur coat for me, he also opened the door and brought a few clothes and people. Why didn't you said it? Girl, I'm used to him. I'm a prostitute and the man likes me. Who is such a prodigal? Wu Yunyoung said these two words, which touched her heart, and her cheeks turned purple, said, I'm a prodigal. You can say whatever you want. I was his daughter who filled the house to marry him, not a wife who came here while he was here. There's no shame in taking advantage of a man and promiscuously. I'm a real man and I won't be a profligate. Wu Dejinzi stopped in front of him and said, Third miss, what's wrong with you? Stop and relax. Meng Yulu said, Yeah, and why are you so upset today? It's a big deal, and I've been hit hard every time. I've hit several people with one salary. I haven't seen the sixth sister. You ask the aunt to just say a word and just start arguing. Da Jinzi said, as the saying goes, you can't fight without a good hand. Scolding is not a good thing. If you don't argue with your sister, every time I fight, my relatives will be ashamed to live here. Girl, if you don't obey me, you think you are angry with me here. So just ask the sedan to come to my house. Li Jiar said in front of Li Jiar. When Pan Jinlian saw Yu Niang scolding him, she sat on the ground and rolled around. I was slapped several times in the mouth. The bun on my head was knocked off to the side. I cried loudly and shouted, I am dead. What do you want with this life? Your man made a note to talk about the future. I will take advantage of it. He's coming to your house. It's not a difficult thing to do. Just wait for him to come home and write a divorce letter to me. And then I'll go. You can't catch up with him if you chase him away. Yun Young said. Just look at it. He's a scumbag. Before anyone else can say a word, you look at his talk. And he's just like Huai Hong. He's also wallowing in dependence. He won't wait for a man to come home and kill him. I don't want to change. Are you afraid of you if you act cunning? Jin Liang said, You are the real deal. Who dares to judge you? Yun Young became even more furious and said, I'm not the real deal. Seriously, do I dare to raise Han Lai in this home? Jin Liang said, If you don't raise Han Lai, who will raise Han Lai? Just bring the master to me. Yulu saw that the two of them were getting into trouble. While pulling Jin Liang forward, he said, You are so weird. Let's save our words. Just make a mess. 2 sentences on the left and right. Teach the 3 masters a joke. Get up. I will take you to the front. Come on. Jin Liang just refused to get up. So Yulu and Yu Xiao pulled him up together and sent him forward. Da Jinzi persuaded Yun Young and said, Girl, you are inconvenient and irritated. So it doesn't matter. Sisters, rejoice. I have light every time I live here. It seems that when the energy is combined, you didn't follow the advice. But what happened? The 3 girls saw that they were making a fuss and sent the girl to eat some snacks, packed a box, and said goodbye to Yun Young and the others. Yun Young said, 3 masters, don't make fun of me. And Su said, my Buddha's and Bodhisattvas, who has no smoke in the stove. There is a little unidentified fire in the heart, and if it touches it, it will produce smoke. Everyone just give in. There is a saying in Buddhism, coldness if the mind is not moved. It will be a lonely boat. and the cleansing platform is just in time to be repaired. If the rope is still loose, even 10,000 Vajras will not be able to bring it down. As a human being, if you only tie up this mind-wandering horse, you will be able to become a Buddha and an ancestor. When the poor monk goes, there are many people who disturb the Bodhisattva. It's good. He asked two questions at the same time. Yunyang hurriedly returned the blessing and said, "It's too late to show off to master. I'll send someone to send the wedding lining to you another day." Then he called the eldest sister. "You and her Nying will send the 3 masters out to look after the dogs." Then he sent the 3 girls out. Yunyang sat with Dajinzi and said, "Look at me. Now that I am angry, my arms are weak and my hands are cold. I had a sip of tea from the morning, and I am still worried about it." Dajinzi said, "Girl, I am advising you to stop holding qi, but you don't obey me. You are Lin Yu's body. What's the big deal?" Yunyang said, "You were here to watch, and it was me and him who combined qi. Now, the night watchman grabbed the watchman. I tolerated others, but they refused to tolerate me. You just blocked a man with your arms, cheated with that girl, and did all the things you did at the front. You can do what others can't do. Women don't care about their integrity. He doesn't shine on his lampstand, and he talks about being a prostitute with his mouth open. Thinking about that person. He is in harmony with that person all day long, facing me." Jinyi said that if that person is wrong, he is the pure ant. He only cares about the 2 ends and the fan, and has a crooked heart to correct his belly. He has a human face and an animal heart. He will not admit it if he says it. The gambler swears to bluff people. Son. I washed my eyes and looked at him. I still don't know how I'm going to die tomorrow. Just now, there was tea, and I was kind enough to wait for his mother to come and eat, but unexpectedly he sent him away without knowing anything. I arranged for him to shout, "Chinair, quietly come over here and listen." "What are you listening to? I'm afraid of you. Wait until the man comes, learn the lesson lightly, and then divorce me." Xiao Yu said, "I'm always guarding the stove in the house, standing there. I don't know when Wu Nying will come, and I don't hear his footsteps." Sun Zui said, "He only knows how to walk the ghost road. He only wears felt-soled shoes on his feet. Do you know that you can't hear him? Think about how much harmony he had with me when he first came. He talked to me behind my back and taught me my father beat me twice, and my mother said that he and I tend to be aggressive." Yunyang said, "He is used to burying people alive, and he wants to bury me alive today. Didn't you see him banging his head and rolling around just now? If your father comes home and finds out, he will knock me down." Li Jiaoer smiled and said, "Mom, it's against the world." Yunyang said, "You don't know. He is the 9-tailed vixen. He eats the good ones to death, and wonders how many bones and meat I have. In the past few years in my family, although you have been a member of the courtyard, you are not like him who has been in prison for a long time. Look at his momentum yesterday. I called the man in the room. If you don't go forward, I can't wait for you, so go ahead." As if he was the only man to occupy the house. It's not that I wasn't upset. He came from Tokyo. I won't let you go in the back all night. I won't go into a person's room on his birthday. I'll just put all 10 fingers in your mouth. Da Queasy said, "Girl, you are patient. If your child is often sick and in pain, don't be greedy for this and let him go. If you don't fight for the good of others, you will become enemies with others." After some persuasion, Yuxiao arranged for a meal to be served, but refused to eat it and said, I have a headache after getting back, and some evil thoughts are coming up in my heart." Taught Yuxiao, over there on the king, "Put down the pillow, and I'll lie down." He told Li Jiar, "You guys eat with me." That day, sister, you also wanted to go home. Yunyang paid, put a box of snacks and give him 5 coins. She sent it away, but he said that he was interrogating the thief in Simon King Yemen and did not come home until noontime. Just when Jingdu's supervisor's family was asking for a reply, Simon King said, "Thank you, Dad, for the gift. Why are you so fussy about it? You still carry the gift back and wait until I tell you to take it home tomorrow." The family member said, "My father didn't pay for it. So how dare I take it back and leave it with my father?" Simon King said. Jeezy said, "Please keep asking for more. I know. Get the sticker back and reward your family with a tael of silver. Because when he entered the upper room, he saw Yoon Young sleeping on the king. She called for a long time, but Bai refused to answer. When I asked the maids, they didn't dare to say anything. When I walked to the Golden Lotus room in front, I saw a woman with disheveled hair and sleeping with a pillow. She didn't say anything when asked, and she didn't know why. While sealing the money, he sent the Jingdu supervisor's family away and went to Mengyu's building to ask. Yulu couldn't hide it, so he had to tell Yoon Young and Jin Lian about their quarrel with each other in the morning. Simon King panicked, walked to the upper room, pulled Yoon Young up by the hand, and said, "You are very important. It is not convenient for you. So what do you do with that little whore? Why do you get along with him for nothing?" Yoon Young said, "I am in harmony with him, but am I inclined to be aggressive and try to take advantage of him? When he comes, he will take advantage of me. You ask everyone, don't you? I kindly set out tea in the morning and invited his mother to eat. He used his temper to take advantage of him. After my mother sent me away, she came back and yelled at me, holding her head up. She rolled and hit her head, and her bun was flattened. The emperor shouted, but it just didn't hit me in the face. If it hadn't been for everyone's urging. Yes, we got together. He was used to bullying others, and he wanted to subjugate me in his heart. The action was, your man said that I will come here with money, so send me away. I am no longer in your house. He couldn't finish a sentence, and his mouth was like Huai Hong. What kind of meat and bones could I mix with him? I know how to deal with those scoundrels. I was so angry that my body became limp and warm. What kind of child is Li Zi? Not even the prince can become a prince. Now he is in trouble. His heart is just swollen. His stomach is hurting. His head hurts again. And both arms are numb. I just sat on the bucket. After this time, I won't come down. If I come down clean, I won't have to be a ghost with a tired stomach. Find a rope in the middle of the night. Wait for me to hang myself. Let you and him go. From now on, I will be like Leaping Sun. If you eat him, you will die. I know that your wife has not died for 3 years, but she is also very regretful." Simon King refused to listen. After hearing this, he became more and more panicked. He hugged Yoon Young in his arms and said, "My good sister, don't be like that little whore. What does he know about good and bad smells? It's worth a lot more if I don't make you angry. I'll go ahead and scold this little whore." Yoon Young, Simon King said, "You still dared to scold him, and he will tie you up with a pig's hair rope." Simon King said, "You teach him to eat my feet if he annoys me," because he asked Yoon Young, "What's in your heart now? Have you eaten anything?" Yoon Young said, "Who tastes something?" He just picked up the tea early in the morning and waited for his mother to come to eat. He came over and started shouting with me, "Now my heart feels swollen, my stomach is hurting, my head hurts again, and both arms are numb. If you don't believe it, you can touch my hand and hold it even after half a day," Simon said. After hearing this, King just stumbled and said, "What's the matter? Hurry up and ask Medical Officer Ren to come and have a look." Yoon Young said, "Why do you want Medical Officer Ren to come and take a look? Just go with him. You'll live, but you won't. Teach him to die to take advantage of people's hearts. What kind of good wife? It's just adobe on the wall, layer after layer. I died and just helped him upright." As a smart person, when no home, Simon King said, "You are so impatient that you just leave that little whore like a stinking feces. Now you don't invite Ren Huxi to come see you, and you are so angry that you are so angry. The fetal gas can't go up or down. What's wrong?" Yoon Young said, "Wait a minute. Ask Mrs. Liu to come and take a look, and give him medicine. If he doesn't, chop 2 needles into his head and let him heal himself." Simon Qingdo, "You didn't tell me. Mrs. Liu, that old whore, how can she see the fetus? Tell the boy to ride a horse and ask a medical officer to come and see her." Yoon Young said, "How dare you go and invite me? Even if you invite me, I won't go out." Simon King didn't listen to him. He walked to the front and called Kin Tong, "Hurry up and ride outside to invite Dad Ren." "Wait, I'll be here as soon as I can," Kin Tong promised, mounted his horse and flew away like a cloud. Simon King only stayed in the house with Yoon-young, sharing the favors with the girls, and quickly cooked porridge and brought it out, urging him to eat it, but Yoon-young refused to eat. In the afternoon, Kim Tong-kong came back and said, "Dad Ren is working in the house and has not come back. His family knows that we are here to invite him, which means that Dad Ren will be here early tomorrow." Yoon-young saw that Kiao-da came into places. "Please," he said. "The imperial doctor is here tomorrow. Just go to Kiao's family. It's getting late. And if you don't go, Kiao's family will be upset." Simon King said, "I'm going. Who will see you?" "You?" My mother smiled and said, "Silly tramp. Who wants you to do such a thing? You go. I don't care. Wait for me to calm down for a while. Slowly get up and sit down to eat with the big girl. What makes you panic?" "What?" Simon King ordered Yuxiao, "Please come quickly and sit with your mother." He then asked, "Where is Sister Yu? Ask him to sing and listen to my mother." Yuxiao said, "Sister Yu, come and sit with your mother. Go home. I'm impatient," Simon King said. "Who taught him to come and go? Just leave him alone for 2 days." He kicked the jade flute twice. Yoon-young said, "If he sees your family is rebelling and causing chaos, he is going to go. What's wrong with him?" Yuxiao said, "I won't kick anyone who seriously scolds second sister Shen." Simon King just did not listen and put on his clothes. Went to Kiao-da's house to have a drink. Before it was time to wake up, I came home and went to the upper room. Yoon-young was sitting with Da Guizi, Yulu and Li Jiar. Seeing Simon King come in, Da Jinzi hurriedly went to the back. Simon King asked Yoon-young, "Are you feeling better?" Yoon-young said, "I ate mouthfuls of porridge with me. My heart is not very swollen, and I only have a headache and backache." Simon King said, "It doesn't matter. Ren Huxi will come to see you tomorrow. Take 2 doses of his medicine to dissipate the energy and calm the fetus." Yoon-young said, "I'll tell you not to invite him. And you invite him again, by Meiichi eyes. What do you want a man to do?" "You can see if I can go out tomorrow," he asked. "What did Kiao's family ask you to do?" Simon King said, "He said I came from Tokyo and wanted to sit with me. Today I also took a lot of trouble, tended a lot of vegetables, called to singers, and invited Taiwanese officials to accompany me after I fell behind. I warmed you up and felt uncomfortable. After drinking for a few minutes, I came early." Yoon-young said, "What a talker. I can't listen to your sweet talk. But Kecker is just trying to warm me up. I'm the living Buddha who appears, and I don't care about you. It's not worth it to die. You're just a piece of shit." He asked again, "The Kiao family has never said anything to you again?" Simon Qingfang told him, "The Kiao family is now taking advantage of the new rules to pay 30 taels of silver to get a righteous officer. The money is also sealed. Come on, tell me to tell Hu Fuan." I said it doesn't matter. Hu Fuan gave me 100 calendars yesterday, and I haven't returned his gift yet. When I was giving the gift, I left a message with him and asked him. He asked for a letter of officialdom and paid it to you. He refused. He said that it was reasonable to accept some money. Now the central government will divide the money to ask for it, so that it does not need to be used up and down, and it also saves about 10 taels of silver. Yoon-young said, "That's right. He asked you to beg for him. You didn't bring his money." Simon King said, "His money will be sent over tomorrow. He also wants to buy gifts, so I will stop him. Tomorrow, we will have a pick. A jar of wine. Just give it to Hu Fuan." After saying that, Simon Qingwangzi slept in the upper room all night. On the next day, Song Shen arranged wine, held a banquet in the back hall, served wine, and arranged fruits. Early in the morning, the government issued a ticket to allocate 30 official musicians from the 2 houses, led by 2 acting officials and for platoon leaders, and came to Simon King's house to agree. I saw Medical Officer Ren coming here on horseback since early morning, and Simon King hurriedly welcomed him to the hall to sit with him and talk about how he had been pregnant for many days. Medical Officer Ren said, "Yesterday, the envoy arrived. The students were in class. They came home late at night and saw Zanla. He came here today, without delay. I dare to ask who is unwell." Simon King said, "Occasionally, There is some disorder in the great humble, please give me a consultation and Huxi. After a while, tea arrived. After having tea, Medical Officer Ren said, I heard Mingchuan say yesterday that, congratulations to the old man, so I should congratulate him. Simon King said, Philippines is just preparing personnel, so why congratulate him? At the same time, Simon King paid, tell your aunt at the back that when Father Ren is here, he will take care of things tomorrow. The piano boy agreed and went to the back. Da Jinzi, Li Jiar, and Meng Yu were all in the room. Qin Tong came and said, Medical Officer Ren is here. Dad will teach you to clean up the people sitting in the open room. Yunyang could only get up and said, I. He said not to invite him, but it was just a matter of teaching other men to open their eyes and pinch their wrists. They didn't know what to do. Call Mrs. Liu to come, take 2 doses of medicine, and let him heal. It's good for people like ringing bells and playing drums to be with other men. Feed your eyes, Yulu said. Auntie, we have invited someone here. What will happen if you don't go out? Why don't you go back and go? The eldest concubine persuaded him again. Girl, he is an imperial doctor. You teach me. He looks at your pulse and knows the source of your illness. He doesn't know why you are so angry and has violated that meridian. Taking his medicine can help you regulate your qi and blood and calm down your fetal qi, Mrs. Liu. He knows the source of your illness. Pulse, what's the delay? Yunyang started to comb her hair, put on her crown, and Yu Xiao took the mirror. Meng Yulu jumped on the king and took a sip for him to brush his temples. Li Jiar strangled Tianer for him. Sun Zui is ready to get clothes. After a while, dressed in pink and jade. Exactly. Fairy Luofu comes to the mortal world. And Chanjuan of the Moon Palace comes out of the painting hall.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.